rescue are going all out to help some feathered friends in trouble. Jacksonville students get a lesson in preserving life in the wild. Their big-hearted bird story is coming up next. Kids help out a group of needy animals. The kids are from Mandarin Oaks Elementary School, and they spent the day at BEAKS on Talbot Island. There they fed and cared for birds that can't care for themselves right now. Now this was the kids' idea to give up their Sunday and work with the birds. They're willing to do more. They plan to go back to their school and encourage their classmates to donate supplies for the bird sanctuary. Had a lot.
Hi, I'm Aaron Lawrence, along with our BEAKS News team, Despy Roddenberry, Jeff Allen, Kyle Fulford, and Parker Lawrence. We're here today to meet Cindy Mosling and to find out what BEAKS is all about. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, glad to have you here today. I'd be glad to share what we do here at BEAKS with you and your friends and back at school, and we'd like to show you around and let you see just what goes on here at BEAKS, okay?
Okay. If you find a baby bird or any kind of bird, how should you help it if it's injured?
Begin with, if it's a baby bird, best thing to do is watch and see if its mother's nearby, because the mama's there, you want to leave it alone, let mama take care of it. But if it's in harm's way, like a kitty cat's nearby, or it's in the street, or it's in harm's way, let an adult help you put it back in the nest if you can find it. If you can't find the nest, then you need to maybe get an Easter basket, and hang an Easter basket in a tree and tie it securely where it has shelter from rain and sun, and then watch for mama to come back. Otherwise, put it in a box and call BEAKS. See how hungry he is? Now, if it's an injured bird, same thing. You would want to get a nice box for it to go in with holes in it for ventilation, and just keep it calm and quiet and put it in a cool, dark space where it's ventilated, and call BEAKS.
Do you treat birds yourself or do you take them to a vet?
We do both. We're trained on what to do on certain things that are wrong with birds. We take care of simple things, but when a bird needs veterinary care, we have 4 veterinarians that work with us, and we carry the birds to them, and sometimes we have one that comes here about every Friday and helps us with all the birds. So they do get real good care, and if there's a broken wing or need surgery, the veterinarian does it for us.
When did you first become interested in caring for birds?
It was about 12 years ago this fall, and I ended up getting one seagull with a broken wing from the veterinary hospital in San Marco. There's a veterinary emergency clinic over there, and they took in a bird that had been hurt and hit by a car, and they had nowhere to take it to because they took care of its wing. They taped it up and fixed him, but they had nowhere for them to heal and get cared for. So they brought him next door to me, and I said, yes, I'd take care of it. And that was 12 years ago and 27,000 birds ago.
How long have you been doing this?
About 12 years.
About how many birds do you have right now?
Well, it changes daily. We get about 25 birds a day in the springtime. That's quite a few, and they don't stay too long because they're babies. We let them go pretty fast. But on average, we have around 300 birds that come and go they're here each day. But they don't stay very long. We get them out as fast as we can, so it changes all the time.
What do you feed the birds, and where do you get the supplies that you need?
Well, it varies. The food changes. Each bird has its own diet, just like people have certain things they need to eat, and animals have different things. So the wild owls and the hawks are birds of prey, which means they eat meat, right? They eat snakes and things like that in the wild. So here we give them beef heart, has a lot of calcium. They get drumsticks, chicken drumsticks, and they get mice. But we have to purchase all the food. We have to bring it in and have it frozen. It's brought in big frozen boxes, and we thaw it out each day and feed it to them. And then on the other birds, that's hawks and owls, okay. Then the songbirds that eat, like the ones you're going to help me with, like the blue jays and cardinals and crows, they eat canned dog food. They get shredded wheat, they get fruit cocktail, and they get cottage cheese every single day. They have all 4 food groups, just like a person eats.
How many birds are here to stay, and what is the percentage of birds that you are able to release back into the wild?
That's a big question. Well, let's see. On how many birds are here to stay, that changes. Some birds stay for a short time, and some birds get sent to the facilities if they're permanently crippled. Percentage of ones that go back in the wild varies with what happens with them. In the wintertime, sometimes birds come in, a whole lot of birds come in, they're just cold and shivering because of the bad weather, and very, very hungry because they can't find any food. and almost all of them go back in the wild. They're not really hurt, they're just cold and need some help. But if they've been hit by a car or if they've been shot, the chances of them going back on the wild is not that great. If they get here fast enough and they get help right away, let's say if their wing gets fixed by the veterinarian and it heals properly, then we can let them go, and they're pretty good with success rate, you know. But it's hard to say exactly just what the exact percentage is.
What does BEAKS stand for?
It stands for Bird Emergency Aid and Care Sanctuary. Care with a K.
Our school mascot's an eagle. Do you have any eagles?
We do. We have an eagle named Noelle. That she came in last Christmas. Remember last Christmas we had an eagle that was shot on Christmas Day? Well, Noelle's wing had to be amputated, and so she'll never be able to fly in the wild again. Somebody shot her just out of pure meanness, and she's with us now, and she's going to become an educational bird. She'll stay with us. This is Noelle. She's the bald eagle that was shot Christmas Day we were talking about. And her left wing had to be amputated, and therefore she'll always have to stay in captivity and be cared for by people. She won't be able to hunt for herself or to fly and be free. And this is the result of one person's cruelty. Okay. These are some of the other birds that we have in our care. Right here we have an osprey. She came in about a week ago. She was very weak and very tired. She came in during a storm. And there's another one right over here that has a bad leg that was hanging from the nest by a piece of twine that she had tangled around her leg for part of her nesting materials, and she was dangling 70 feet up in the air. And we had a tree surgeon came down and helped cut her down and saved her life. And so now she's just healing, and we're waiting for her foot to get well enough to let her go again. The birds you see up at top are red-tailed hawks and red-shouldered hawks. And almost every hawk we have in here today has been shot. Illegally, of course. It's never, ever, ever legal to shoot a hawk, an owl, or blue jay, or a cardinal. All these songbirds and migratory birds are protected by law. They're not to be harmed. We have two vultures here that we can show you. Vultures are not birds of prey. They eat things that are already dead. We call them nature's vacuum cleaners because they always eat the dead things alongside of highways. But they have a sharp beak for pulling their food, for tearing their food, and they have a feet like a chicken. They don't have claws like a hawk or owl has for catching their food. But the red-headed vulture is closest to us, and the black vulture is behind. But these are not birds of prey, they're scavengers.
Can anyone come out just to visit the sanctuary?
Yes, we're open for visitation on Saturday and Sunday from 12 until 5. And then any day during the week you can call for an appointment. We'd be glad to have you come see us, and we'd be glad to give you a tour.
Okay. What can we do to help BEAKS?
That's a good and a very big question. To begin with, you can, number one, appreciate the environment you have, appreciate your surroundings, and just appreciate the fact that the wildlife is out there for you to enjoy. But to help BEAKS, what you can do is, number one, if you see an injured bird or a bird in harm's way, try to help it by getting, if it's injured, pick it up and put it in the cardboard box and keep it calm and quiet, and call BEAKS, come get it. Or you can take it to a veterinary hospital in Arlington it's called Arlington Animal Hospital, is our drop center. The other thing you can do too is come out here and volunteer, maybe on a Boy Scout group or Campfire or Girl Scout troops. They come out here and do service projects. We'd be glad to have you do that. As well as, we're always happy to have supplies given to us. We always need that. The canned dog food, fruit cocktail, old towels, and sheets, just about everything. Light bulbs, flashlights. Kind of like, what you need when you're camping sometimes, because we're kind of camping out here. So anything you can think of like that, or you call us, and call us and ask us if there's something that you could do to come help us. We're glad to talk to you. Okay, I have a question for all of you today. How do you think these birds got hurt in the first place? Why do you think the birds ended up coming here?
Because they were really injured real bad and they needed help.
They needed help. But how do you think they got injured?
Careless people.
Careless people. Well, how were they careless? Well, give me an example.
Dumping oil and
Oil pollution. Sometimes we have pollution that goes in the water, and the birds get. Do you know when a bird gets oil on them, what happens to them?
they can die. Their lungs clog up.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, they lose their protection from the cold.
Their oil. They lose their cells.
Their thermal protection. Right. And you know what happens?
When they try and clean them, it gets into their
They
stomach.
swallow it and it poisons them, right? So that's bad, number one. So oil pollution's that's a bad one. It happens quite often.
And careless driving.
Okay, most of the owls we have, these big barred owls that are in the cave?
I've seen them.
You know what? They get hit by cars. You know what happens? Birds hunt, right, along the side of the roads for food, and cars end up hitting them.
There's one in there that's been paralyzed and it's upside down. When it tries to fly, it turns upside down.
It has head trauma when you hit by a car. What else happens to birds?
When people,
Wait.
those plastic bottle, those can holders, cut them so when the birds don't, like when the bird's going, their neck doesn't get stuck in it.
Very good. You know that we call that plastic pollution. It's a very good idea to take the six-pack holders rings, to cut them up and snip them and put them in the garbage. You know what else hurts birds a whole lot? Fishing line. Do you know when you go fishing, you never, 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 ever throw a fishing line.
With the hooks on them, that could, without the hooks, they could tangle their feet and they could fall into their own hurt.
You know what happens? They get tangled up and they can't get away to get food and they can't go find food to eat and they starve.
And sometimes the hooks can hook them.
And sometimes when they go too low, they can, like in the road, some people like run over
They
their feet.
get hurt there, right. Okay, another thing too is we don't let balloons go, because you know what? If you let balloons go in the atmosphere, they come down, right? They fly up in the air and they come back down and they end up in the water, and that hurts birds too.
And sometimes the birds will go and like hit them and they'll pop in their face.
Well, okay, so one other thing we have hit by car, we have plastic pollution, we have oil pollution.
Running over.
What about guns, guys?
Yeah, people like to shoot birds for fun.
We don't do that, do we?
No.
That's a pretty cool thing. You know, we have an owl that has one eye missing. So a little boy, a 14-year-old boy, shot him in the eye with a BB gun, and the owl can't hunt with just one eye, can he?
No.
So always have to be taken care of. So we don't shoot birds for fun, do we? Not ever.
And I heard about this guy, he shot an eagle and his arm, they had to take, they had to take off their wing.
No, well, okay, let me tell you one more thing, you know, it's real important. What's the worst thing happening in the whole world is happening to animals everywhere? Can you think what it is?
Like some animals eating other animals.
No, that's kind of a natural thing, but what's happening in the rainforest?
People cut down homes.
Cutting down their homes, their habitat's being lost,
No,
right?
they're cutting them down and the tree animals are
Right.
dying.
So these are all things that are happening to animals, not just in foreign countries. Right here in town, we have things get built and we have new construction. So a lot of the animals we have around us are losing their homes. They end up on the roads looking for food and get hit by cars. So who's responsible for all this? Who has the guns and who puts the water and who's humans, people, right? We're the reason the birds are getting hurt, right?
Yes.
So you know what? That's why we have you all here today, and that's why I'm here doing what I'm doing, because we have to help and make a difference, don't we?
Yes.
Right, good. Well, I'm glad you all came to see BEAKS, and I'm happy you came to share all this information with your friends back at school. I want you to come back again, okay?
Okay. I'm glad I came today.
Good.
That wraps it up for the day, and we thank Cindy Mosling for letting us come in.